Hi again, so Maureen from Sagesse Therapy, and we are going to look at the first three muscles after central and governing, which are stomach, spleen, and heart. So if we look at the dance again, so stomach is the low dive, spleen, and I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, I'm just going to do this, is the penguin, so it goes this way. And heart is the scarecrow going that way. Okay, so we are going to go through all this right now. And the way we teach it in Touch for Health 1 is that you get to try it out with Neurolymphatics. What are Neurolymphatics? Neurolymphatics are there to help you your lymph go and flow. So it's lymph and the nose and everything. So all the system, the lymphatic system, helps you fight against viruses, against whatever comes out from outside and tries to get in and get warm and attack yourself. Okay, so that's what it's like. If we look at the charts, just go behind and we look at the charts. So we look at this and Neurolymphatic reflexes. So they are located mainly on the back and the front of the body, promotes lymph and flow to organs, glands, and muscles, and fights infections. So that's what I just said. Oh, again. Anyway, so yeah, that's what Neurolymphatics does. The same way that I did in central in governing Meridian, we still are going to go through the spinal reflex and the Neurolymphatics and the Neurovascular just after that, even though we are going to look at the Neurovascular in more detail in the next video, where it's going to be the main thing to look at. Okay, cool. Stomach meridian, and I'm going to share my screen again. Yay, we are here. So pectoralis major clavicular. So that's why we start from there. As you remember, probably we start from a contraction and we go and stretch the muscle. So if we look at the pectoral muscle, so the breast muscle, what you want is to have the biggest, oh, interesting. So it's not really this one. So why? So it's probably something that is right underneath. So let's see. Pectoralis major. Interesting. I can't find it there. Yeah, so it's probably somewhere here. The one that is just below it. Let's see if we go through a female. It will work out the way you want, or the way I want. So the green thing that you see is actually the lymph. So the lymphatic system that you can see, all the nodes that you can feel it's painful when you're sick, they're all there. That's the full system. And the pectoralis major clavicular is just below that one, and it's just on, it's that part there, so it's not the whole the whole pectoral muscle is just that part there, which is interesting that you can't get it. No, it doesn't actually work that well unless there's a problem with the book, which I'm not sure is what. Oh, and now I can't get it back here, get it in. Okay, so it's probably so it's that part here. Okay, and of course, but everything is linked, right? So if you want the contraction of that muscle, you'll need to have that over there like this, and then we go down to stretch it. Now again, so you will first try it out by pushing there and then pushing there. If the left and the right goes down, that means that you've got something that requires spinal reflex correction, and the spinal reflex correction will be in T5, T6. You've got all this on page 111 in your book, 110 and 111 in your book. T5 and T6, I'm just going to try and sort this out here. If you going this way, I'm just watching, so the bones. So you've got all the cervical vertebrae over there, C7 being here. That's T1, T2, T3, T6, and that's where we should be going. So it's about midway from the shoulder blades. So if you look at your shoulders and you can figure out where the clavicular bone is here, so the shoulder blade bone, it should be more or less straight up on the spine. Again, spinal reflex means that you need to rub with 4 of these little fingers, so 4 fingers, and you just rub up and down the spine. If, however, when you do, so this going down and this going down, just one unlocks, then of course you need to go through the inquiry type of discussion with the body. First, you will try and get to know whether this is a neurolymphatics correction. So you will need to redo it again on the muscle that unlocks. If, for instance, that's left for you, that's right for me. The right one unlocks. So now what I will want to ask my client or the person I'm giving the balance to is to put their hands on the left side. So for you, it would be more this side, right? So let's say this side, it's a left side, and we'll do it again. If it locks, that means that you need the neurolymphatics correction to get the system back into balance. No stress in that system, please. So when we do that, so if it comes up as neurolymphatics, you will get the person you give the balance to do this under the breast. So on the left only, not on the right. On the right is the liver. So you'll get exactly the same thing, but for the liver. So you want it to be just on the left. And on the back, you will have the neurolymphatics correction either side of the spinal reflex correction. Okay, so it's T5, T6, that will be here, and you will essentially try to rub, but sideways in between the intercostal muscles to get to that correction. Okay, so that's one thing. So you will want to have the person you give the balance to do that in the front, and you do it at the back, and you can ask the person to fall onto your hands so that you can go a little deeper. Okay. Now, doing this So yeah, after the correction, as always, you do that again and you try it again to see that it's done the work and you're back in balance. If you're back in balance, you can go to the next muscle. If you're not back in balance, then you need to go deeper again, okay? So we're doing this and it locks. Now, if I were into the position where the spinal reflex is not there, so I'm only unlocking on one side, but when I'm doing this, it's still unlocking, so that's not the neurolymphatics, then I would go to the neurovascular holding point, which for the stomach system, so the stomach meridian, is just above this, so all the eyes. The eyes. Look into my eyes. Just before, just above the eyes, okay? And you just hold that. We'll go through this correction because it's a correction in itself in another video, because it's something that is really, really, really helpful. So keep in mind this because we'll come back to it in another video. So that's all for the stomach meridian. Let's go for the spleen meridian now. Spleen meridian is Latissimus dorsi. So let's go back a step. Let's see. Dorsi on the right. So you've got this video, and as you can see, there's a tiny little bit of a difference between what is in the book and what is in the software. This software is actually a software for physiology and anatomy for doctors. So I am kind of, you know, probably going to trust this a little bit more. So you've got the origin here and this insertion over there. I don't know if you remember, the origin is where it locks on a bone, which you can see it's on the hip bone there, and on the spine. And the insertion is where you've got the connective tissue like ligaments, tendons, and so that part is moving, that part is doesn't move at all, so it's locked. Now, if you look at it this way, so we said that T6, T5, T6 would be there. Yeah, so let's go back a step. So that's the muscle. So it goes on both sides. You can have both. So that's on the right. You have it on the left as well, of course. So what you want is to make sure that it's contracted as much as possible. So what you want is to get your hands in that position. So palm facing out, right along the body, and put everything towards the body. So that's when, if you think about it, that's where the muscle that you can see here will be in its contracted, the most contracted place. Okay, and we go forward. So we are basically stretching out the arms, and thus stretching out also that very big muscle on the back of the body. How do we test it? So always above, so with two fingers above the wrist, 2 or 3 centimeters above the wrist, and you push it a little bit, very softly, let's say. It will come out if it needs to come out. That's one of the muscles that you can't really recruit other muscles to stop letting you to go there. So if it is unlocking, you'll find that it will come up very very well. So you will see that it's unlocking. It's pretty obvious. Okay. Now for this, so you'll find all the information on this muscle, especially on page 123, and so 122 and 123 of your book. On page 123, you will see that T7 and T8 are about at the same place as where we found T5 and T6. So you want to make sure that you're putting 2 dots just a bit below. So it's just like it's a bit too high up on the shoulder blades. Like if you can see this, it's basically over there. Okay, where the book is picturing it over there. So don't, just you can put a note on your book. You can put a note on your notebook, wherever you prefer it to be. You can put it there. Okay. Again, so if this one unlocks, we'll go for spinal reflex. Spinal reflex will be T78, so it's over there, and we take all the 4 muscles to go and wriggle everything. And if only one, the left or the right, goes up or unlocks, sorry, what you will want to do, and I'm just stepping back a little bit, so you will want again to start the inquiry. What's the inquiry about? So you will want to have the person to touch, so you've got your thorax here going down, and you want the client or the person you're giving the balance to just touch the last vertebrae that goes onto the thorax area. Okay, so you touch this and you do it again. If it locks, then you know that you've got a neurolymphatic correction that is needed. So you will ask the person that you're giving the balance to, or your client, to just do this on the front, and on the back you're going to go so T78, as you can see, so it will be there, both sides, again, in between the muscle, the intercostal muscle over there. Okay, both sides. So it's a good practice also to ask for the client to fall onto your hands, just because it's going to make your work at the back a lot easier. If you come back to it and first, so you've done there's one that is unlocking, you've tried this out, it's still unlocking, then you go on to the neurovascular. And where is neurovascular? So you find this on 122 in your book, and it's just above the ear, so here or there, and just a little bit at the back. Okay, so you just hold, and then you try again. The way to make sure that you get to your inquiry system easily is to always touch, to get the client to touch. So first Neurolymphatics, try again. It's not locking. Get him to, or her to, try and touch the neurovascular. You can actually do it for her because it's easier. Then you go on for the head or the other side, really, and then you try it out again. If it locks, then you've got your answer, and you need to correct it, and then go forward to the next muscle. So when you've done a correction, you need to retest again. So if it's retested strong, then you can go forward. If it's not retesting strong, then you continue the inquiry with the next couple of corrections that we'll see later on in our workshop. Okay. Now we've done Latissimus dorsi. Now we go on to the heart meridian, or scarecrow. And this one, so there's only one muscle to test in Touch for Health. for the heart meridian, and it's subscapularis. So you don't have additional muscles. Subscapularis, and here it is. And I have to give it a turn. So as you can see there, so this is going to be, the origin will be on the other side. Yeah, so the origin will be down there here. So that's the part that doesn't move. And the insertion with all the connective tissues, the ligaments, etc., will be on the arm. So you don't see it. It's a very deep muscle. So it's below your shoulder blades, and that's what subscapularis actually means. Sub being under, and scapularis, the scapula being the name of that bone there, so the shoulder blade. It's underneath. That means that for this one, the correction using origin and insertion will not probably be easy to use, just because it's so much, so deep that you won't be able to access it anyway. Okay. So again, how do we make sure that? And I'll just go back again like this. How do we make sure that we've got a contraction? You get it out. So you're pushing the shoulder blades towards the spine when you do that, and you've got your hands over there. So we're going to go that way and that way. When you do that with someone, with a client, of course, you can't get him to stay there and try and resist. It's not comfortable for him, and it's just going to put a stress, an additional stress, that will not give you an accurate response to your test. Okay, so what you want is, when you're in front of that person, imagine that there's the so that I've got the shoulder over there. So I've got the shoulder over there, and then so the rest of, I'm just going there, the rest of the arm, then the elbow, and then the rest of here. So what I want is to have my, so to test with the opposite side, so the opposite arm, and to brace with the one that is on the same side, okay? And just, get it that way. So you're in front of the person basically, but you're bracing with the exterior one. So if I was going to do on the other side, I would brace like this and push it up with the other arm that is completely on the other side. Does it make sense? Hope it makes sense. Otherwise, you can always give me a shout, and I can find someone to do it and make a video on it. Okay. So yeah, subscapularis, the scarecrow. We're going up like this. So you're trying out. It unlocks. Up, it unlocks as well. Oh, that's very sad. So we are going to have to correct with the spinal reflex. The spinal reflex will be on T2, T3. So I'm just going to reverse that. T2, let's see. T2, T3 should be over there somewhere. Yeah, over there. Okay. So that's T2, T3. And again, with all those 4 fingers, and you rub up and down along the spine. Another client do that. One unlocks, one doesn't. Well, actually locks. So one unlocks, one locks. You've got all the information on page 135 and 134 of Touch for Health book. You will have to ask your client to put their hands in T3, but on the front. T3 is where the thymus is, so it's just above the the nipples line. Okay, so it's just there. And then you try again. And oh, it works. It locks. Yay! So we've got something to correct, and it's neurolymphatics. So you will ask your client to do this. So intercostal muscles, T2, T3, exactly the same place where he has put his hand in the first place. These points can be really sore. And that's okay. That just means that they really, really, really need a rub. You also have to realize that from a lymphatic system point of view, that's where the thymus is. And thymus is a super gland in terms of lymphatic system. It's the one that will protect you all over through winter and allow you to fight. So get your armies out and fight for your health during the winter months. Just doing this. And on the other side, so you will want to do T2 and T3 again. So exactly at the same place as where the spinal reflex point is, just on the each side of the spine. So you're not on the spine, you're just really in between the intercostal muscle. So in between the vertebrae, you're just wiggling, rubbing. Ask the person to fall onto your hands again. It will make it so much easier for you to go deeper and get there. Then other client, oh, you get to heart, and this one unlocks. Okay, so you do this and still unlocks. And then, so now you have to go and touch the fontanelle. So that's where, that's about, halfway. It's pretty, not really nicely put in. So it's the anterior fontanelle. So it's just at the top of the skull. And you try again, and up it locks. Ooh, yeah, you've got a neurovascular correction. So you just are going to hold this for maybe 20 seconds, maybe 30, depending on what the client will need to get there. And then you try again, and up it locks. You try again by challenging, and it locks. That's all good. You can progress to the next set of 3 muscles that we'll see in another video. So to wrap it up, we've seen that you've got the stomach muscles, it's low dive going up. You've got the lymphatic system that is on the left only. The Neurolymphatics, the Neurolymphatics point is on the left only. You've got the spleen, which is usually easy to get it to unlock. Spleen, and that's also just on the left, back at the bottom of your thorax here, of the thorax here, okay? And then the scarecrow, so the heart meridian, the heart system, where it's in the thymus that you will test for neurolymphatics, and that's where everything is wrapping it up to give you health and well-being during the winter. So don't forget about it. Thymus is your brave little general during the winter months. I'm just going to try and find out if I can. Thymus. Let's see if I can find it out. Here. Doesn't want to. Lymphatic. Interesting. So if I'm just putting that there, it's probably going to be somewhere here. Okay, so that's really, as you can see, just below. There's so much happening in terms of lymphatics, lymphatic system. It's actually crazy. So yeah, I love that software. It's so much fun. So yeah, that was it. So if we come back to the full dance, so we've got, I'm just going to step out of it. So we've got central, central, governing, governing, stomach, stomach, spleen, spleen, heart, heart. And here we go. So we're partway through. See you for the next one, and we'll deal a little bit more and go deeper with the neurovascular correction and on the next set. Okay, see you then. Bye.